Hi, my name is Saul.
Hi, my name is Wendell Holland.
My name is Brandon Donlin.
Hey everybody, this is Mike Gabler, the Alligabler, coming to you live on Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Well, like the bad guys in Zelda's Breath of the Wild, the Blood Moon made all the survivor demons come back to life, and we were forced with 3 people voted out in a single episode of Survivor Season 50. So welcome to this episode of Survivor Squared, where Tony Squares, Bailey Buffs, we're going to break down everything going on in this season, in this episode. It was a huge, huge episode, and I would like to start off the podcast by saying this podcast is brought to you by Applebee's, where me and Bailey will be going to a reward afterwards. We'll be eating a bacon burger, a classic combo platter, caramel apple tart dessert. That was the longest Applebee's commercial I've ever seen, Bailey.
That was the most ridiculous Applebee's commercial I've ever seen in my entire life. I was like literally watching it. I was like, oh, Jeff was a server. He was totally a server in his 20s. He knew how to sell those entrees. 8-ounce filet straight off the skillet. I was like, I literally was having flashbacks to my restaurant days. I was like, oh no, am I going to be asked to sell the Applebee's burger with smoked bacon inside the Colby beef patty? Like, okay, I get it. Thanks, Applebee's.
Am I alone in this world? Because again, I've frequented a chain restaurant many a time. Applebee's, maybe it was just my hometown Applebee's. Applebee's is the worst of the chain restaurants. Can we get a Chili's in there? I know we used to do Outback Steakhouse. I hate Applebee's.
Dude, give me a TGI Fridays or something. Like,
Sure.
give me a Cheesecake Factory on Survivor. I can safely say, Tony, I genuinely don't think I have ever been to an Applebee's. Like,
there's no
and
need.
not in a bougie way. Just like, I've been to Sizzler, I've been to Outback, I've been to all those other ones. I don't think I ever went to Applebee's. So like, this just, it doesn't hit. It doesn't hit
No.
the same.
No, not at all. And I just can't keep remembering Liz from season, what was that, 47, her getting mad she missed out on the Applebee's. I'm pissed. And that's all I kept thinking about last night. But most of the Survivor fan base, I shouldn't say most, a good group of the Survivor fan base is pissed at what happened with the Blood Moon twist. So let's start breaking down. If you haven't seen the latest episode, I don't know why you're watching a recap podcast, but I'll go through it for you. 17 people hit the beach in the biggest merge in Survivor history, and the Blood Moon twist is 15 of them will be split into 3 teams of 5, compete in an individual immunity challenge, and each of those 5 is going to tribal council to vote 3 people home for the first time in Survivor history. A lot of ramifications came of that, but overarching, Bailey, what did you think of this Blood Moon twist, considering how many people were left in the game? And do you think this is something they should have tried on another season versus a season with all these greats coming back?
I think the shock value of what it was would have held weight in any season. And I think for something like 50, I do think it's appropriate. I mean, and for having the largest cast we've ever had, I don't think it would have been as impactful had it happened on a season 46, 47, 48, especially where we don't know the players. There was so much more stakes to it. Lack of a better word, an adjective there. We knew this was coming, Tony. We talked about this. We've done the math. We knew there had to be either multiple double eliminations or some sort of triple elimination. Yeah. I'm just thankful we're not getting some weird bloodbath of Mr. Beast coming in and just being like, half of you are gone. Like, I was really genuinely worried something like that was going to happen. So in all honesty, I think that this was handled to the best it could have been, and it really kicked off what is going to be the merge and kicked off the stakes again for who's going to make it to the jury. Yeah. I mean, that really just upped, and the fact that it was a reward. I mean, It was just everything was really weighing on this. And so I think we saw that kind of reflected in the challenge as well, for some of the people that just really had to dig deep and find that inner strength to hold up all of these stakes that are happening.
I hate that it happened during season 50 because I want this season to last 72 days. And that's selfish of me. I love every one of these people. I want to see more of them. I want to see them have a whole episode to go home rather than 3 of them sharing a go home episode. I understand though, when you have 24 people in 26 days, that's going to mean some of this is rushed, especially when in the beginning we weren't getting rid of people fast enough. And now, even so, we still have more people in 14 than we have days left on the beach. So there's still some craziness that's going to occur. But I might take the different approach here the way Survivor handled it with the way they split everything up and the two people on Exile, I loved it. I ate up this twist. I thought it was a great immunity challenge to decide who is safe. And yes, when you have something like this, when you go from 17 people to 5, there are going to be some people who get swap screwed, and we'll go over that in a second. But I do believe this was the best possible way we could do a triple elimination on Survivor, and also the best possible way we could do something on Survivor that's never been done in the 50 seasons that we've had without creating some crazy-ass gimmick that ruins the game. I had a real blast with it. Let's go through the beginning of the merge when 17 people hit the island before we learn about the twist and everything. I was kind of shocked by how easily information was spreading on that island. And I guess I shouldn't be shocked because of all the people that were there. But Ozzy going to Christian and Emily early to try and regain their trust and say, I have an idol. I'm sitting there going like, I can't, Emily's an idiot. Why'd you tell her that? She's going to tell everybody. But it doesn't matter because everybody tells everybody. Everybody knows Aubrey has an idol. Everybody knows Rick Devens gave her the idol, even though it was Christian. Everybody knows who's the other one? Ozzy has an idol. And it was given to her by Genevieve because Genevieve decides to come out with that information. And then Genevieve goes to Rizo and says, oh, you have an idol? Like some of the stuff was being held back, but at the same time, a lot of it was being out in the open, and I was kind of amazed by that, Bales.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, we were off to the races in those first 5 minutes of the episode. It was everybody just running their mouth. And again, we've talked about this, and we even touched on it last episode with Cirie a little bit, where she's like, I come from old school era. You don't tell people about your advantages. In new school era, everyone is flagrantly waving it around all the time. And so it just, I think, is such a testament to how Survivor has changed. And especially with all of those advantages and secrets, that is their bargaining tool. We see now that your vote isn't your only currency. It is the knowledge you have, and people are playing with that far more. I think they are gambling with their information more than they ever have before. And so now it's kind of all in the open, really, except for Rizzo's idol. I think only Cirie and Ozzy still know about that. And I think Rizo, Cirie, and Ozzy are still the only ones that know about Cirie's extra vote. There may be one other person in there, but that's the only stuff that I feel like has been kept pretty hush-hush, which, again, impressive on Rizo. That lucky boy.
Yeah, It's impressive on a couple of the new era people, because I talk about this in the episode coming out on Monday with Jeremy, how Winners at War was very much old school versus new school. And the new school players really ushered out the Robs, the Sandras, the Parvatis. And as I hear later, as I watch that late, people were mad at how that went out because their favorites were gone so early. This season is very much different in the fact that these new era players are betraying their own kind, so to speak, like Joe and Jonathan and now Rizo, by going to play with these legends. Because Jonathan and I can't speak for Rizo, but Jonathan and Joe definitely played that honor and integrity game. And it's more of an old school mindset. And so when they get on the island, who is more of a threat to them? A Colby, a Cirie and Ozzy, or an Emily or a Camilla? Like, they're looking at the Emilys and the Camillas as those are the dangerous players. The Genevieve is a dangerous player. I can trust Coach's word, even though you can't, but I can trust that word. Versus the people I've already seen backstab me to my face. And we are watching this episode in particular. Other than, we'll talk about Colby, but the old era really cemented that this is their game. And I'm really struggling to see a future where players like Dee, like Tiffany, like Emily come back and have any type of say in what goes on here, because this older version is so deep in numbers thanks to Jonathan, Joe, and now Rizo jumping into boat with them. Was that surprising to you to see some of those players sort of switch over, or am I looking at it there was never lines drawn? It was never new versus old.
I don't know. It's so hard to say, because coming into a season like this, like, we see all the advertising, all the promo stuff, and immediately in my brain, I'm like, oh, Ozzy's out, Cirie's out, like, Coach is out, like, because you just assume we've watched these people play for 25 years. You know that they are good players. Cirie is the best player to never win. Like, she is the hugest threat. She is Mount Rushmore of Survivor contestants, and no one's even throwing her name out. And maybe it does really boil down to the same phrase we keep saying is the enemy you don't know is worse than the enemy you know, or whatever. So yeah, Rizo is going to have more of a target on his back, or a D or a Tiff or a Camilla, these people that are very strategic players. Maybe they're not the strongest people, but they're playing this new era game. And I don't know, it's truly fascinating, honestly, because it's, again, like Mel, Dee's friend, said, you get on that island, you get Cirie out. But when you're on that island and you talk to Cirie and her gameplay works and she just says, no, come here, baby, I got you. You also, as a fan of it too, you want to play with Cirie. I want to play with Cirie. I want to be friends with Cirie. Like, there is this added element to it because of the history and because of the fandom. Because they talked about this in Tribal. Dee was 3 years old when Colby played the first time. She grew up her life watching these people, idolizing these people. Now she's playing with them. Yeah, of course you want to rub elbows with these people that you've supported your whole life. But then that does affect your gameplay. So I just think it's almost unprecedented what we're seeing. It's not like Winners of War. It's not like past seasons we've seen before. It is different because it has to be. It has to change with the times. And you are going to get new mindsets and new strategies over the years. And I mean, it's pretty wild to me. It still is just not the way I thought it was going to go, is how I should say it. Some of the players that are still in, it's truly crazy to me that they are still in.
I think we are getting I'm rare in this Survivor world. I am watching all of this in one calendar year. So I've just seen the evolution of the game over week after week after week. And we are seeing a very old version of Survivor, like where alliances that you made on day one or day two really carry you throughout the entirety of the game. On Jeremy's season where he won in Cambodia, it's second chance season, they created that term voting blocks, where like people would jump from vote to vote depending on what happened, and like you never knew who you're going to be working with. And that's very much a new era vibe now, where people are jumping from vote to vote, and they're all over the place. Kyle might vote with Camilla, he might vote against Camilla. Like there's all this stuff happening consistently week to week, day to day. This season 50 is very much lines in the sand. Colby, Stephanie, and Coach met up on day one with Chrissy, and they're never going against each other. You can do whatever you want to them. That now is 4 out of the 14 that are tight as can be. Or I guess Colby's gone, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah. And now they're bringing in Joe and Jonathan, and they're adding to their numbers. And Joe and Jonathan both think they can win against Coach, against Stephanie. They're not even going that far in their brains. They're only thinking, I need to make it to the final 6, and then we'll all duke it out. We saw David try to do this in season 48, where he tried to get Joe and Eva and on Mary and all these people, these strong 6. And then at the end, it'll be like Battle of the Goliaths to duke it out. That's what this season 50 cast, the older people, are trying to do. And what amazed me, before we get to even the twist and the blood moon, what amazed me at the merge part were 2 people that sort of saw this and jumped right into it. The first one's Ozzy, who has never been a strategic mind. And from the beginning, from the premiere, he has said, like, we're not getting Ozzy, you're getting Oscar. I have to think more strategically. I have to play differently. Yeah. And he is living up to that. The fact that he's not only working with Cirie, but he tells Emily and Christian, he forgives Christian for jumping on him because he knows he needs those numbers later. He is doing strategic things. And then when he finds that twist, and the twist being you get to go to Exile Island, they don't know that's a blessing in disguise. He has to think, who can I bring? I can't bring someone that they know I'm working with. I have to bring someone that I'm secretly working with. And Rizzo's the choice, and it is the perfect choice to cement that relationship together because they get that one-on-one time together. So impressed with Ozzy's way of thinking. And then the second one is Aubrey, because the 2 times Aubrey has talked about anyone other than Genevieve. This whole story has been Aubrey v. Genevieve, but the 2 times where it's been just Aubrey. One was a couple of weeks ago where she said Coach is running the tribe and I have to start working with Coach, and we see Aubrey approach Coach of all people and they start to work together. And then today, or the last episode, where Jonathan and Aubrey have a conversation. Jonathan says to Cameron in his confessional, I have to start working with people that I wouldn't necessarily work with before. And he goes to Aubrey, and Aubrey is all about it. Aubrey is there, ready to work with whomever, because she's trying to make friends and knows that there is a power alliance of old honor and integrity doofuses, and she's trying to weasel her way in there. and it works out with her at the end. Bailey, what do you think about this whole old school era of gameplay that we're seeing? Is it entertaining to you?
Oh, 100%. I genuinely don't know what the next move is going to be ever. Like, even just watching the episode, I was like, okay, I think it could be this person, this person, this person off these tribes. None of those people were even talked about. Like, I genuinely was like, oh, here's the opportunity. You get out Colby, you get out Jonathan, you get out Joe. Right before you get to the merge immunity, individual immunity, you get out those 3 big monsters, those challenge beasts. Names weren't even talked about. Colby, of course. But like, it's I am being kept on my toes, and I am so appreciative of that. And the only thing I will say is, how in the heck did Aubrey and Genevieve get on the same freaking tribe again? That's crazy. That's crazy to me. Like, I really don't think that the editors are involved. I really don't think anything is manipulated in any type of way. But there are some times when it's like, the luck is just astounding to me that these two have not been able to get away from each other in 14 days and multiple tribe swaps, multiple merges, multiple changes happening. And those two are just destined to be together, apparently.
And they never once even ponder working together and trying to make it a tag team versus going after each other. But let's break it down. Ozzy and Rizo are off the island. They're on exile. They're safe. The 15 others get split into 5 different teams. Let's go through one by one how it worked out. And let's start there with the Genevieve and Aubrey team. Christian is the one that wins individual immunity. Good for Christian. He's also paired with Devons, who is his tag team partner. Another unlucky thing for Genevieve. And then Joe at the end. I was a little bit worried for Joe because, as you said, challenge beast. He's known as a challenge beast. He has the chance to lose out here. He doesn't have any friends on this tribe. And him and Devons had a real weird situation on their original tribe. And so wouldn't that be a little bit worrisome that he's on here? But I got the sense, it wasn't shown on TV, I got the sense that no one is scared of Joe, the game player. So they kind of weren't worried about that. They were more worried about Genevieve. And I do think Aubrey was driving that train. And as you said, people have been swap screwed before. People are going to continue to get swap screwed. And Genevieve makes it known during Tribal that she knew once those rocks were drawn, she was going to be going home. And Jeff kind of questions her on it, like, are you sure that it's just about luck? And Aubrey says something about making her own luck, and just Genevieve wanted to get that line in there. She does it in her confessional too, that like, hey, I got effed over here. I just want the world to know that I got effed over. You're never going to see a rock draw, so you don't get to see my original reaction, but I'll double down on it for you. I got effed over. And I got to say, Bales, we've talked on this show about how much I hate tribe swaps, how much I hate people who get swap screwed. I will say, though, I don't think anyone has been screwed more in Survivor history than Genevieve was on season 50. Yep. Because not only does it, drawing the rock, she ends up next to Aubrey in this unwinnable situation. But again, I cannot stress enough, she found 2 idols in the biggest season in Survivor history. She found 2 of them and had 0 chance to play any of them. She didn't go home with them in her pocket. She had to give those idols away. How many times in these Survivor seasons can you go back and see that finding an idol is detrimental to your game? Genevieve might be the only one that it happened to. We've seen people carry idols to the finish line. Aubrey today dangled an idol at that final 5 and said, I'm going to play this. And guess what? She didn't play it. The idols can be used in so many ways when you are in possession of them. And Genevieve had 2. No one has been more screwed over than Genevieve was in season 50. Do you agree?
1,000%, tenfold, bar none, no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, she got the shit end of the stick. Sorry for, cursing, but like, she did everything right and just kept getting screwed. And even on top of that, just one other thing that I will say, because they really did her so dirty, on top of the idols, on top of the Aubrey situation, they also have completely excluded her from the edits. Like, all of the promos, Genevieve wasn't in. So it just like, she got screwed. I really genuinely feel for her. I would be shocked if she ever came back to play, in all honesty, because like, it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. I feel bad for her. And I mean, I did think like what a class act for her in that very end to give her iconic red coat to Aubrey of all people, to really like extend that olive branch when that is the person that has been gunning for you since day one for no reason, kind of. So, you know, hat is off to Genevieve. I have mad respect for her. I genuinely feel so sorry that she, you know, this was the game for her. It really sucked. And sometimes that's Survivor, and that is the crappy part of it, but it happens. And let's get her on Traitors or something. Give this girl a redemption arc. Come on, put her on Dancing with the Stars or something. I don't know. Justice for Genevieve. Hashtag Justice for Genevieve.
So Aubrey and Genevieve, that war is now over. It's one of the little things that Survivor, the breadcrumbs that Survivor has been leaving, that Genevieve and Aubrey were going to come out ahead. It is over before the jury even begins. I'm interested to see what the next feuds we have coming up, because if you watch the coming next week, there's a couple of feuds that are out there. I'm going to save my favorite, I shouldn't say favorite, the most impactful team of 5 decision. I'll save that for last. Let's instead go to the saddest team of 5 decision, and that's how Survivor ended the Blood Moon episode. We have a very old tribe in Cirie, Coach, Colby, and Emily, and then Dee wins her first individual immunity after winning a bunch in season 45. When I saw this team, like when this team of 5 was divvied up, Dee had to be like, this is the best possible thing. I just have to beat 3 people in their 50s, and Emily, who's never lifted more than 10 pounds in her life. Like, this is absolutely perfect for Dee, who is a weapon physically, and she needed this win because she's an easy vote otherwise. Huge win by Dee. Colby gets voted out in very sad fashion. He doesn't have his vote. He doesn't have his shot in the dark, thanks to Savannah beating him. And it was truly, Bailey, like it was a beautiful, beautiful moment. Him opening up, talking about his experience on Survivor, how for 25 years this has been weaved into his life. Many of the people in his life he knows because of Survivor. And as you said, Dee watched him when she was 3 years old when Colby was first on it. And then Cirie and Coach also talking about their experiences and how they are. Yeah. This game has touched them so much and created part of their lives. I loved that Cirie was there for it, because you could really feel the emotion in Cirie that Colby was feeling as he was trying to stifle it. Cirie was just allowing him to have it. And I loved, it was very, very, very touching. And I really enjoyed that moment, Bales.
I did too. I just felt like it was such a sweet goodbye to Colby. It felt like it was really wrapped up his story so well. It was so tender. And I think Dee said it. I don't remember if it was before Tribal or at Tribal, but he's just so genuine. He's so authentic. Like when he speaks, it's hard. It's like Dee said, you feel the words. It's not hearing them. You really feel them. And I felt that with what Colby was saying. And, you know, I just thought it was such a tender, sweet moment. And I also thought it was hilarious that we're seeing one of the most heartfelt moments of this entire season. And then off in the corner is just Emily Flippin not saying a freaking word.
Silent.
She's like,
did not have any emotions whatsoever.
Nothing. And she's like, if I say anything or say something wrong, these 3 could totally just decide to stay together, actually, because they're so bonded for life, and get out Emily. So yeah, it was sad because it was so real. And I mean, again, this just goes back to why I love Survivor so much. I mean, yes, there's lying, there's manipulation, there's gameplay, but there's also so much heart and so much just like real emotion and real experiences and memories. And this changes people's lives. Like, it's just such a cool thing that we get to be a part of as fans watching. It was really special. I thought it was just a really, really special moment.
Do you think Dee, Cirie, and Emily made the right choice? Because they're deciding between Colby, which is a very easy vote, and Coach, who is a guy who's had a vote, could have played a shot in the dark, but also Cirie sees it as the head of the snake in that Stephanie Zoom bond there is Colby. And Coach is sort of the tail of the snake. He's just there. I see it as Colby made a very good point, whether you believe him or not, but you have to kind of believe him. The man is honor and integrity. He made a point to Dee, like, hey, listen, if you vote Coach out tonight, I will go in front of you to Stephanie and Chrissy and say, Dee saved me. Dee's in our group now. I believe he would have done that. Whereas Coach is an older Emily. Like he'll vote wherever he wants, whenever he wants, because someone looks at him the wrong way. Like Coach is as untrustworthy as you can get, and Dee even says, "I can't trust Coach at all." So, do you think they made the right choice between Coach and Colby?
Not at all. I thought that was so silly, and I thought, again, made a brilliant point, and we talked about this last week. Colby could get medically evacuated. I thought he was going to at the end of the challenge, the way he dropped and screamed on the floor, and you trust him. So that is such an easy person to get out next. Just keep him in. I thought that was so silly. He has no vote, he's injured, and he's trustworthy. That's who you're going to go for over Coach? The Dragon Slayer, who, again, voting blocks, switches who he's with all the time, lies, is deceitful, is dramatic, is chaotic. I thought that was a terrible move. I just thought the Coach was the smarter move. And again, seeing the next week on Survivor, Coach is pissed. He is not happy about something. So that's, again, a chaos agent. If they had just taken him out, Dee would have been in a good place. Emily would have been in a good place. Cirie, I think it was just so dumb. Genuinely. I don't understand.
And if you look at the next week in Survivor as well, Dee is also pissed, because she is pissed at big boy Jonathan. Let's go to the final 5 here. Jonathan is there with Stephanie and Chrissy, and Tiffany and Camilla. Stephanie, hats off to you, man. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, Stephanie could have stayed up there for the next 7 hours. No one was going to beat her at that challenge. And the fact that Stephanie and Chrissy are the final 2 out of all 15 to stay up there in this challenge, hats off to them, man. Well done. But the real juice of this episode, to me, it wasn't the most interesting. It went first. Survivor did not find this tribe of 5. There weren't many confessionals. There weren't many storytelling in any of these players' games throughout the entirety of the season. However, I'm looking at this as trying to map the road forward. I think this was the most important decision in all of Survivor 50. The fact that Jonathan has to decide between Stephanie and Chrissy or Camilla and Tiffany. He has to decide, am I joining the old people with Coach, with Joe, with that whole world of old era players, the Ozzies and Ciries? Am I turning my back on the new era faithful because at a time they've turned their back on me? I've been spurned before. Or am I going with my original tribe that never lost a thing, that original tribe of 8? I still have Dee. I still have Camilla. I still have Tiff. I can make things work. We just lost Charlie. They spurned me, but I want to win them back. Am I going to stay with the new era, or am I going with the old era? And man, this decision sent Camilla home, sent Tiffany very angry. It's going to come back and bite Jonathan, but I don't think there's enough firepower in Tiffany, Dee, and Emily to combat Jonathan and the rest. I think Jonathan cemented his place in the final 6 or 7 by this move because he has secured safety in numbers against people that will not flip on him.
What we're really going to see is the Cirie, Ozzy, Rizo, which I'm sure Dee and Emily will get in with them. And then we're going to see the Jonathan, the Coach, the Stephanie, the Chrissy, and that they're just going to duke it out, these 2 teams as a merge. And it's, I mean, Jonathan really he drew the line in the sand. And I mean, to his credit, he said he was going to be doing that at Tribal. He said lines will be drawn, and a line was drawn, a very clear line. And Dee, I think, had a lot of faith in Jonathan. And so I think, understandably, she is going to be absolutely livid. And I mean, I'm glad we got to see more of Tiff this episode, is all I'll say. I'm glad we got some more confessionals. I freaking love that girl. But Tiff is in a bad spot now too, which without Camilla. I will say from a gameplay perspective, I think this was a good move by Jonathan. I think Chrissy is clearly someone that has already ruffled some feathers, is a little difficult to work with some people. Coach has already had to check her. Chrissy's not she's not a target. I mean, she's just not someone I think you have to fear. Camilla is. You've seen Camilla work, in secret. And so I do think it was the right decision. But I think the blow up from it is going to be pretty intense, as we saw in that coming up next week.
The only thing I disagree with that statement, Bales, is I do think Chrissy is much more dangerous than she presumes to be. She has ruffled feathers, no doubt about that. But her coming out and and putting on the tears, saying, I'm so sorry. I know you're just going to vote for me. I get it. There is no hard feelings. I want to stay friends after this game. Knowing full well she's not done playing. Knowing full well, she's like, don't worry, Camilla. Don't worry, Tiffany. Don't play any advantages you have. I understand you're going to vote for me. It makes sense. And she's still going. Chrissy is a player to the bitter end. And I do enjoy the move that she made on this tribe. Sad to see Camilla go. Another girl who I don't think her game ever got started here. We definitely didn't see it ever get started. And that's sad for Camilla. But yeah, I think Jonathan's decision is shaping the future of this season. But we have 14 players left, Bales. I'm pretty certain we can draw the line. Like, we usually predict who's going home, right? We usually play a prediction game of who's going to be eliminated. But instead, let's go through right now with these 14 players. And I'll write this down if we got to take a break so we don't have dead air and we can figure this out. But let's go through these 14 players and figure out. I do believe there's two tribes here. And I do believe it's a very old school. There's going to be a power 7, power 8. And who is that? Who are the two factions? And who's in the middle? Because the first faction's pretty easy. First faction, we got Jonathan, Stephanie, Chrissy. We also have Coach, and we also have Joe. That's 5. Am I forgetting anyone in that original faction?
No, that's the 5.
Right. And then the new era people, we have Dee, Emily, Tiffany. And that might be it on the new eras.
Dee, Emily, Tiffany. Yeah, because Aubrey's not really with them. She's kind of in the middle. Yeah, it's really just those 3.
The other faction is the nerd faction. You got Christian, Devons. You got them now working with Aubrey, maybe looping Emily in. So maybe those 3 start working with Emily D and Tiffany. Maybe that's the 6. And then you have the middle of Rizo, Cirie, and Ozzy. Who knows where they want to go? Do they want to lean old school? Do they want to go with the new school? Where does Rizo land? Because he loves Coach. He loved Colby, so where does he end up landing? Who do you think Bailey decides this middle?
I think Rizo is, as much as we saw in the beginning, his relationships with Colby and Coach kind of start to blossom. I think that man is locked in with Ozzy and Cirie. I think no ifs, ands, or buts. I think Rizo will be with them. I think they will bring Dee in, which I think inevitably will then bring Tiff in. I think we are going to see a very clear draw. And I do think, I don't know, some of those people like in Aubrey and Emily, I think those types of players, it's either going to go 2 ways. They're going to be the swing and everyone's going to really try to get them on their side, or they're going to be the easy vote and they'll go after those players. So I don't know. I see it kind of probably coming to a head of more Coach's team and Ozzy's team going at it, which I know is still both old era, but I do think that is going to kind of be what we're going to see once the merge is happening.
So then in the next episode, we have 14 players. We could have multiple people going home. We don't know. We did predict 3 each last week for people to go home. Chrissy was in there. Genevieve was in there. We had a couple of them. I think we had Colby in there. Absolutely, we did.
We did.
Who goes home next, Bailey?
I'm worried about Christian.
I think it's too easy of a vote. She's already on the bottom. At least in my prediction, she's on the bottom here when it comes to tribes. And it's too easy of a vote for people to rally around getting out the final winner that is on this island.
Oh, yeah.
I think unless she continues to win immunity, Dee is such an easy target in this, and it's too easy to spin a narrative to just say, get the winner out. She's winning challenges already. Get her out.
And she just won the first individual immunity, and she's already having issues with people. Yeah, that's probably a very good call out, Tony.
And that is it for the Blood Moon Blues episode of Survivor Squared. Tony Squares, Bailey Bus. We will be back next Thursday talking about the next episode, figuring out what Coach is mad at, the Dee and Jonathan blow up. Maybe another celebrity enters the island. We don't know. Hopefully they don't get a full 15 minutes like Zach Brown did. I'm excited to talk about Survivor 50 on Monday. Jeremy Collins joins the show to talk more about Season 50. And then again, we'll be back next week. But until then, we shall see you.